Welcome people to Real Stories UK. Today I'm going to talk about the recent footage showing Fumez the engineer having a discussion with the politician Nigel Farage about drill music and how it affects society. Fumez the engineer is a music engineer who claims to be part of the current drill music scene.
I want to talk to you about the music, right? Drill music in particular, which has become very, very contentious, very popular, very controversial with some. We've now got, the Director of Public Prosecutions in this country saying that the lyrics that are used in drill music shouldn't be used to smear defendants, but some of the video clips, if they show associations of different people, could be used in a courtroom. And it's kind of confusing, but let's just get into this with you. I mean, let's be honest. Some of the lyrics, some of the words in drill music are pretty horrific, aren't they?
It depends how you're looking at it. Like, some of the words in like action movies are pretty horrific too, but it's not real life.
You say that, but I mean, I look at some of these lyrics about, the use of blades and knives, and we kind of know that in London and many of our cities we've got increasing knife crime and all the rest of it. And I put Rambo blades in chests. Take that risk by CB. It's not good, is it? I mean, does drill music need to clean itself up? Is really my question to you.
Drill music's like an expression of freedom of speech. Like, it's creativity. It's an opportunity for the younger generation to kind of make something of themselves. So when they're in the studio, when they're doing music videos and that, they're not doing whatever it is that other people will stereotype them for doing. Do you see what I'm saying? So it takes them away from potentially any kind of street activity, any kind of violence, X, Y, and Z, if that's what their life consumes of. But a lot of this is like, it's visual storytelling.
So you're saying it's not real life?
No.
So this stuff, and by the way, I know there's only a fraction of the words that are used are like this, and I get that. I'm not trying to put the whole genre in a bad light. I'm just saying, wouldn't it be better for drill music as a whole to get rid of some of this stuff?
What makes you say that, though?
Well, we're living in a society where what we say and whether we cause offence to each other has become a much more sensitive issue than it's ever been before. I'm going to talk later on about a comedian, tells a joke and gets reported to the police, and it wasn't that bad a joke, really. And I'm just saying to you that I think some of this language it's almost encouraging violence.
It's not, though. It's not always encouraging violence. Sometimes they're actually talking about making money and buying their mum a car and moving out of the areas.
I get that.
So we need to not focus on what it is that you guys want to focus on, because it's like drill is creative storytelling, and all they're doing is trying to use their talents to tell a story. It doesn't mean that they are the story. It doesn't mean that that's their everyday life. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, look, I get what you're saying. I understand a lot of it is about aspiration, a lot of it is about ambition, and I get all of that. As it turns out, it looks like the courts are going to agree with you, and the courts are going to say that these words can't be used in cases. I just wonder...
As they should.
I just wonder, don't you sometimes think that goes a bit far?
Sometimes I think GTA goes a bit far. I think action movies goes a bit far. We got Fast and Furious. People are driving around, they still get speeding tickets. It's offensive. It's offences. It's crimes as well. Do you get what I mean? But I'll be looking into that, though. All
right, fine. Well, listen, have a great Glastonbury. Thanks for coming on. And I know some of you at home won't know much about drill music, and I'm not here to demonise it. I just think some of the words, perhaps sometimes, if they weren't there, it might be a little bit better. That's just my feeling on it.
First of all, I think Fumez was one of the worst people they could have gotten to speak on this issue. Fumez is clearly lost and not connected to what these youths are actually going through, because for him to say that drill music isn't real is a complete joke. And the fact that Fumez stated that drill music isn't real, I say you go and tell that to the mums of these youths that have been killed, that drill music isn't real. Because if you've got any kind of brain in your head, you would know that music influences people in a huge way, especially the kids of today. So when man are saying they're gonna chef this and splash that on a track, you don't think this influences the youths? But then he's basically saying it's cool because they're not really living that life. What kind of nonsense is that? And what about the thousands of kids that are out there listening to that music and taking them lyrics in? and making the wrong decisions because they're too young to really know the difference about what's real and what's not. And on top of that, what about the innocent kids that aren't involved in any kind of street life, but because the majority of youths think it's cool to roll around with swords and big blades, they feel scared and anxious because of what they hear in the music and what they see in music videos or on social media. I just think this Fumez guy was unqualified to even speak on the issue. Because you sit there and say that Joe ain't real and it's just people telling stories, or however you wanted to put it, but then after saying these things you go back to the safety of your own home. You're not on the roads or dealing with the pressures that these youths have to deal with day by day. Being on a big platform like that, you should have been spreading some real knowledge and letting people know that yes, drill music's a huge part of why some of these stabbings and killings happen in our society today. Because music's a huge influence and always has been. It just changed over time, but the effects are still the same. That's why listening to a certain song or type of music can change your whole energy. You listen to a track saying a man chef this and dip that, got down he's up, or he's smoking on a man who got killed, all that type of nonsense. Hearing things like that will mash up your whole energy, especially a youth whose brain ain't even fully developed yet. But if you listen to something positive like some Jar Digger, who is an artist from Nottingham, who speaks nothing but the truth and makes music to spread love and knowledge, or something like a Morgan Heritage, or some old school reggae, your energy will change and you will feel uplifted. So you can't sit there and tell the people that drill music isn't real. And I'm not saying that anyone that does drill music is just promoting violence and nonsense. Nah, because there's plenty drill artists that are from bad situations and they're just doing drill to make a better life for themselves and are just speaking their truths on what they go through. But there's a difference from telling your story and just promoting badness to the youths. Personally, I just feel like there's so many other drill artists and rappers with the right mindset that should have been there to speak on the issue, not Fumez. He clearly didn't take anything serious, but it is what it is. I guess they would rather have a man like that to represent the culture rather than someone who actually speaks sense. And to all the youths out there trying to make a better way for themselves, keep doing you and don't follow no one. And I pray eventually things get better. Stay safe out there, people. For the latest in urban news and stories, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned into Real Stories UK.